Hello, hi everyone. In this video, I would like to show you how to retrieve some weather information of any city from ServiceNow. So what we are going to do is to create an action which will have two steps. The first step is to retrieve some geolocation of any city that you want. For example, if I enter Prague or Tokyo, is going to return us some result which is going to be the longitude and the latitude. That can be done through the REST message that is sent using we're going to use this API city geolocation, and we're going to retrieve these information. For example, here I have Prague. I'm going to test the endpoint here, which is going to return some results. So I have the Prague city name, I have the longitude, I have the latitude. So I'm going to use this exact API in the action that we are going to create in ServiceNow. So all the information that we need is available here. So all you need to do is to create an account in Rapid API, and you have a huge amount of API available, and it's for free. So that's the first thing. The second thing, once I have this information, the longitude and the latitude, you can actually use another API, which is going to be DarkSky API, which is going to return us some result related to the weather, like the temperature, what kind of day that we have. Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? This kind of information. We can have also some other information that you can see here, like the pressure, humidity, the wind speed, and visibility, and so on. So we don't need actually everything. All we need to have is the temperature, probably the summary, probably as well the time zone. Okay, so we're going to use two API, the city geolocation and the DarkSky API, in order to do this. Okay, the first thing what I'm going to do is to create an application. So I'm going to open up Studio, and in here I'm going to create application. I'm going to call it weather. Okay, weather, and the description is going to be weather information. Okay, I'm going to put this in capital. Okay, great. So I'm going to continue in Studio, Advanced, click on the weather application that I have created. So now I don't have any files. Okay, so I'm going to create a new application file. It's going to be under Flow Designer. I'm going to create an action. Okay, and in here I'm going to give the name of the action is going to be as well weather. Oh my god, weather information. Okay, so I'm going to click on submit. Okay, from now everything that we are going to do is going to be here. Okay, the first information is to create a input variable. So I'm going to create input variable, and our input variable is going to be the name of the city. So if I enter Prague, if I enter Chennai, if I enter Dublin, if I enter Paris, so that's going to be our input variable. So I'm going to name it location, and it's going to be mandatory. Now, as a first step, is to do a REST web service request. So I'm going to make a REST request in order to get the longitude and the latitude. So get longitude and latitude of a city. So this is going to be the title, long one, latitude, and under connection, make sure that you have defined connection inline. So all this information, the base URL, the resource path, the query parameters, and the headers, you have it in the website itself. So I'm going to go back here under here city geolocation, so you can test for different cities. For example, I can put Paris. So I have the information for Paris here. So the name here, Paris, France, time zone, the longitude and latitude. Okay, so I have also Paris in Texas, Tennessee, and so on. So the base URL is going to be the one that I have here under request URL. And yeah, one more information. If all you need to do in order to have this API is to sign up an account and in this website rapidapi.com, you just sign up for an account and you can use whatever the API that you want. So in here, so I'm going back here, I'm going to put this URL and I'm going to take the last part and put it in the resource path. Okay, so this is the base URL, and then we have the resource path / and everything goes here. And the query parameters, so we have to say we're going to use location as a query parameter. Okay, so we have to click here, look for inputs, and then location, that the one that we have created at in the beginning. Okay, so now headers, if you go back, okay, and here we have the header parameters. I have X Rapid API host and then key, so I need to put these information as well. So I'm going to just take this one, copy, and create a new variable header, and then also have the value. So I'm going to just take the value that I have here and put it here. I'm going to do the same thing, just another one for the key. So my key is like kind of exposed, but I can just delete the account, have another account to have a different key. So it's not a problem. So I'm going to just put the key here and then copy. Okay, so I think it's done, our first configuration. So I'm going to save it and test it, see if we can get the same result that we have here. So I have for Paris latitude 48, longitude 2.3, something like this. So I'm going here, test, type Paris, run test, click here. So it's completed, there are no errors. So I'm going to look for steps, and you can see under response body I have also status code, which is 200, which means it's successful. And I have the response body. I have huge amount of information because we have a lot of information. We have 19 different information. So all we need is the first information. That's the one is Paris, France. So I'm going back here, and it should be this one, Paris, France. And I have the latitude 48 and the longitude 2.3. It's working perfectly. We can test for another city if you want. For example, I can put Chennai. I don't think there are many Chennai, so I'm going to just click here, and it's completed properly. And I have the result here. So you can see here that I have the time zone, Asia, Kolkata, and then as well latitude and the longitude. Okay, it's working perfectly. Now as a second step, I'm going to parse this information. So I want to use every information that I have as a JSON format. I want to parse it, and so I can use the information as a variable, object variable, so I can store it in any variable that I want. So that's the next step. So I'm going to parse it. I'm going to look for, I clicked on plus, and then I look for script under utilities, and this is going to be parse response body. And I'm going to put, because I'm going to do first another part, so I want to put longitude and latitude like this. So it's kind of meaningful for me. Okay, so I'm going to create the variable. The first variable is going to be the response body, okay, that we are going to use in our script. So this one, and then the other one is going to be also, it's going to be status quo that we are going to use. So this one. Okay. Now, this is where we are going to write the code in order to parse the response body that we have, everything that we have, and then take the information that we want and store it in a output variables. So the first thing is to check if the operation was successful. So I'm going to say input dot status code equal to 200. So which means if I have 200 for the status code, which means it's successful. If it's successful, do everything that you have into the curly brackets. So everything that I'm going to write here, if it is successful, will be run, will be executed. So the first thing is to parse the response body. So I'm going to create a variable called response body, okay, which will parse parse my inputs dot not status code but the one that we have created, this one. Okay, and just copy paste. Okay. Now once we have done this part, we have done the parse for the response body, everything that we have as a result. Now what we are going to do is to just take the information that we need. So I'm going back here. I can see here results. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So I have an array of results. So it's going to be result 0 name to get this information, Paris, France. So in the same way, if I want the latitude and longitude, I have to do the same thing, result 0 latitude dot latitude. Okay, so in here it's going to be outputs dot, for example, city equal to response, okay, I wrote it wrongly, response body dot capital, in the capital letter, results, the first letter, and then it's an array, so I'm going to have brackets 0 and then put name. So in order to have Paris, France, or whatever the city that I have, I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the rest of the information that I want. So I'm going to just copy paste. Okay, I don't know how much I need, so I'll figure out a bit later. So I need city, and then let's say the longitude. So here is going to be LON. I need the latitude. It's going to be LAT. And what other information that I need? Just let me have a look. Let's say I want the time zone. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. Time zone, and it's pretty simple. It's DZ. Okay, so now I have the result, but I have to create this output variable, which I'm going to create in here so we can use it later. So it's going to be city, and it's going to be longitude, it's going to be latitude 1, and is going to be time zone. Okay, great. Let's see now if this thing works. So if I have all this information, I want the name, I want the longitude, I want the latitude, I want the time zone. So I will be using later the longitude and latitude as a for the second REST request as an input, so we can get the weather information such as the temperature, and what type of day that we have today, for example, in Tokyo. So let's test this one, and I'm going to put, for example, Paris. Click here, so it's completed, perfect. I'm going back here, so I have all the information. As you can see, city, Paris, France. Latitude, I have the latitude, I have the longitude, I have also the time zone. Until now, it's perfect, it's working perfectly. Now it's the time to create our second part using, which is going to use this API, DarkSky API. So we have all the information here, how we have to send the request. So the first thing is to create the REST request. So I'm going to create the REST request. This time is going to be us as well for the connection, define connection inline, and I'm going to put here get weather info like this, so it's kind of meaningful. Now the base URL. The base URL is going to be this one, okay? Sorry, this one without. This is going to be my base URL, and this is going to be the resource path, where the first thing is to enter a key. So I don't have any key. I mean, I have the key given when I'm going to, for example, when I created this account. So what I'm going to do is first create an input variable in here, which I'm going to call key. Okay, and this one will have the value. So this is the key, this is the value. So I can as well reset the key, so no problem. I'm gonna just put it so here, so I can change the key later. So I'm gonna save this one. Okay, so in here I'm gonna use the key, and then what is the format that I have? Once I have the key, I put slash, and then latitude. Okay, and then comma longitude. So the information that we have in the previous step, the parse response body, that we have retrieved the longitude and the latitude of any city that we are going to, that we have entered. So as we have this variable, now we can use it here. So we're going to put this base URL here, the resource path with the forecast slash the key slash the latitude, comma, and then the longitude. Okay, so we don't have to do anything else in here. So let me check once more if I have to do something else. This is a very simple request. So let's directly save this one and test it. Okay, so I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna put, for example, Paris again. So this time I want to have the weather, all this kind of information. So I'm gonna run test. Click here. So it's completed. So this is the first part where we are getting the, we are getting for longitude and latitude, and we are parsing it. And here we are going to use the previous variable and send as a third step, we are sending the third REST request. Sorry, the second REST request, but as a third step. in order to have this information. So in here somewhere we have to have the temperature in Fahrenheit. So I have the temperature right here. It's a whole bunch of information, not very readable, but we do have, if I go back to the website here, we have an example of a response. So this is the entire response for New York, and we have the temperature right here. So this is exactly the same thing, but presented in a different way. That's it. So it's just presented in a different way in bulk. So all we need to do is to find out how we can retrieve these information, like the temperature, this one. What we want perhaps time zone. We have already the time zone, so we don't need that one. So all we need is the temperature and probably the summary. Is it going to be sunny? Is it going to be cloudy? All this kind of information. So it's under currently, let's say, variable. So now I'm going to do exactly the same thing that we have done for the previous step. So previous parse step. So I'm going to just take everything that we have here, okay, and then click on plus here, script, paste it here, make sure that I have here the response body. Okay, the response body here for us, it's from under rest get weather info and not from here. Okay, and then now I'm going to create a new one, which is going to be the status code, and it's from here and not from here. Now we have the first part. Okay, we have created our input variables. So we have to do just few changes in the output side here. The rest it's pretty much the same for the previous parts. It's exactly the same. Only the code in this level will change. So I don't need city. I'm gonna need only two things. It's going to be the temperature and what? And the summary, which is going to be how is going to be our day. Is it sunny and so on. So the temperature is going to be under currently, and then temperature. Okay, and here it's pretty much the same, currently, and it's going to be summary. Okay, so now we have the proper code in order to parse our response body and get these information. So now let's see if we are getting the temperature and also the day, what kind of day that we have in a specific city. So I'm going to test, and this time I'm going to test for Tokyo, for example, and test. And see the result. So it's completed, it's good. The first part, second part, third part, and the last part. I have it here. And script step. Okay, so we have not done one thing. Let's see what we haven't done. So we haven't created our variables, right? Temperature and summary. Okay, save this one. Test Tokyo again. Function view. I'm gonna delete this one and see what's going on here. Boom. So I have now the summary, which is clear. So what type of data I have in Tokyo now, and then the temperature in Fahrenheit, it's going to be, it is 59.39. Okay, so great. So we have to take everything together. We have to put all together, like the city, the temperature, the summary, and all this information. So I'm going to create output variables. The first one is going to be city, activated. Okay, and I'm going to create a few others. Okay. I'm going to create not summary, temperature. I'm going to create summary. Okay, I'm going to create as well. What else? Time zone. I'm gonna create what else? City, temperatures, time zone. Is there anything else? I don't think so. We have the city, we have temperature, we have time zone. I think is enough. So now I'm gonna click on exit mode and then look for the variable. So I have the city here, so I'm gonna just drag and drop. So which I'm taking from the response body from here, and I have the temperature in here, I have the summary in here, and I should have the time zone from here. So as you can see here in the previous step, I want to just name it properly. So I'm going to put parse I'm going to put response body, and I'm going to put temp so. Okay, so it's kind of meaningful. Okay, now you can see here I have the city, temperature, summary, time zone. Now you can have everything that you want. All you need to do is to write the proper create the proper output variables, so you can take, for example, the pressure, the humidity, every information that you want, and you can output that information in here. So now I'm going to save it and see if I have everything. So I'm going to click on test, and I'm going to put prog. Okay, so run test. So as you can see here, I have Prague, and the summary is the day is foggy there, and it's 41 Fahrenheit. And I can change to another place. Let's say I want to put Chennai. Yeah, so I have also for Chennai is it's also foggy, and it's 87. I have also the time zone is Chennai International India. See, so I have all the information that I want directly in the output data. Okay, so this is how you can get the weather information. The most interesting thing that would be is to create sort of application that we have in our mobile where you can select the city and you have the temperature. I think it's also possible to do that in ServiceNow by using, for example, AngularJS or other programming in ServiceNow in order to just take this information and make it visible in other part of ServiceNow. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.